Oh. Hey, 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 how y'all doing? Hey, how y'all doing? Hold on. Let it ride. Let it ride. Let it ride. All right, that's how you do it right there. That's exactly how you bring the show in. Welcome everyone to introducing the PodCLASS. I am your host guide, Smart Video Girl, and we are here for another edition of introducing the PodCLASS. That's right. If you have been here, it was a podcast. It was a podcast, right? And I was just a host, but now it is a PodCLASS. And I'm your host guide, where I share information here, where everyone gets a chance to explore and be introduced to themselves. And only you can do that, right? So here on the PodCLASS, I just provide different information, insights, um, in a very structured way because that's how I think, right? That's this right brain, left brain, smart video girl me. So this season, I decided to focus on self mastery as what we will be working on. Self mastery. And I thought it appropriate for self mastery because in this time where we are currently, right, it is very important that amongst the chaos, amongst the confusion, amongst the illusion and delusion, that we get our minds right. And they've been telling us for a long time, get your mind right, right? But now, um, as if there was never ever a time before, it is important that we understand why. And let me make sure this is right because I know it's not. I just figured. Let me make sure and explain why self mastery, self work is also important during this time. Because one of the biggest things that is happening in this moment is finding creative ways to distract you now. There is a saying that there's nothing new under the sun. And at this point in the game, I think we have seen just about every trick in the book. But they keep trying the tricks, and the tricks keep working because we don't stop and think what is really happening here. That is the blessing. That is the blessing of slowing down and being present with yourself. Okay. And I know I got off on a tangent because that's not even what we're here to talk about today. But I wanted to make that a point for us to understand why self mastery at this time is so important. So if you are here, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you for being live and in person because we are going to be getting into a lot of good, yummy things. All right, so let's get right into it. Let's do what we came to do, which is grow. All right. Yes. Amen. Slow down. Be present. That's what it's about. You have to be present. Be present. All right. So that's what we're doing today. So shout out. Hey to my students, my star students. You guys are always here. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do something for my star students because they show up ready to grow every single week. And that's what we like. because we're all here to grow together. All right. So let's get it in. Let's see what we doing today. Today's topic is a very interesting one. I know this one's gonna make some people cry because it made me cry. All right. Discipline is self-love in action. Discipline is self love in action. Oh my goodness. So, we're talking about discipline today. What is discipline? Okay, we're going to understand discipline. We're going to talk about what discipline really is and how we use discipline, how discipline is in fact that roadmap that keeps you accountable to yourself. Okay, so this is going to be awesome. I hope you're excited. I hope you have your journals. I hope you have uh I hope you have your notebooks. If you have the book, I hope you have your books. Okay, because we will be touching on all of those things today. And as always, I would like to make sure that I set the intention for this show because what I want us to be able to walk away from, listen, your girl, I talk very emphatically because I'm very passionate about the things that I say. So I may speak with my hands, I may speak with my face, I may scrunch my eye. And it's because there's a part of me that really wants everyone to get it. What I know is I can't force it on upon the people, and don't take it personally. If you feel like it's resonating with you and it's hitting you upside your head, I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just saying we need to be more present and aware. Listen, that's all I'm saying. All right. All right. Because we're all growing and we all need someone to help put a mirror to our face and hold us accountable. So please do. That's what we're doing. All right. That's it. So discipline, discipline. So look, okay, this is great. I'm so happy to see these comments in the chat. So let's see. Brick City Bay said, yes, girl, yes. I have been saying that since I became a parent. I tell my children discipline equals love and self-discipline equals self-love. Girl, what is you saying to the people? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because they used to tell us, I'm only doing this because I love you. And in a sense, this is going to show you what your parents were saying, right? And why it's important for you now to own your own self discipline in your growth. All right. So let's get into it. Get into it. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to start the day off. Make sure we start class off. School is officially started. So let's get the bell. All right. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to start off with our wonderful handy dandy announcements. So I'm going to start with the first announcement is next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, March 28th, from 1 to 3, I will be at New Vision Church at 2100 Crane Highway in Bowie, Maryland. And I will be celebrating, as we wrap up Women's History Month, celebrating local female authors, myself along with other few women. The theme is Seeing Beyond Women with Vision. And I am a woman with vision. So I hope to see you. I hope you can come out. I hope you can support. It's a great network with me, network with some other women artists, authors, and have a good time because that's what we're doing. All right. Make sure that if you missed this past Monday was my first appearance on the Pronoia Starseed podcast. And shout out to all of the Star Seeds, some of them in the building right now. I appreciate you for being here, being in the building. And I talked to them. I spoke to them about what I mentioned today about the importance of self-work, the importance of doing the work that is you. One of the star seeds over at Pronoia is a numerologist, and he was informing us about March being a month where this is the time to work on you, right? That's what the numbers say. So it was befitting that the work is you be the theme for this month of March. And I came back with the podcast. We're working on self-love. We're working on self mastery, right? So it is very fitting. It is very divine timing. So make sure you come on over to Pronoia for some extra credit to dig in deeper if you want to explore some other things, because I take some of the stuff that I do here and I mix it in with that. So you're not going to get the same thing here and there. So you need to just be at both places. That's it. That's it. And check out the blog. Okay, the mind behind the Vision Smart Video Girl on Substack. Make sure you check me out over there on that. I will be dropping a new blog very soon, as it relates to this wonderful topic. So make sure you do that. And last but not least, get the book. If you don't have the book, get the book. And if you have the book, read the book. And if you read the book, send me your feedback. Send me an email. Send me a post. Leave a comment here. Tell me how the book resonated with you. What in the book sparked something on your journey or led you down a road that helped you to continue your journey of self-work. I want to hear. I love to hear. It makes me happy. Okay. It makes me very, 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 very happy. All right. So we're going to get into it. Wrong graphic. Mm-hmm. I got so many. All right. So today's show is Discipline is Self-Love in Action, and we're going to get right into it. But before we do that, we're going to do some musical therapy. It is the time for our musical therapy. And since we are talking about self-love, discipline in action, the artist that I have for you today, the song that I have for you today is called Routine, and it's by AJ McQueen. So when we come back, make sure you have pen, journal, book, tissue if you need it, calendar, whatever you need, tea, water, coffee. Mushroom coffee. All right. I'll be right back and enjoy this musical therapy with a little AJ McQueen Routine.
Since it's already mellow, I'm going to do something that's out of the normal routine. So if I miss 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a few notes.
You know what this whole thing comes down to? He's all right. He just needs a little time.
Yeah. Yeah, this the routine. Wake up and thank God for the new things. I got life, I got strength, you know true things. Now the world admiring how I do things. Nigga, it's the root. It's the routine. Evaluate my goals, I gotta execute my true dreams. Get up off my ass and leave the past in the past. And taking out my own trash. Yeah, they said I wouldn't last, but now they see the root. They see the routine. Activate my genius, I evolved from them pipe dreams. Now I'm starting business, mind my own business. Breaking records, Guinness, and I ain't stopping till I'm finished. It's all in my roots. It's in a routine. Drink more water and eat plants for the protein. Fridge full of sea moss and the shells full of herbs. See, when you change what you eat, it'll change how you think. Nigga, change your roots, your routine.
He just needs a little time.
I'm exposing all my roots, all my black thoughts. I'm black and proud, but a nigga don't want no black heart. Couldn't see the future, I took my mask off. They asking for the vaccine, I told them it's the water, nigga, Maxine. Reclaim time, yeah, this my moment, I proclaim mine. Thought I was Jesus, how I changed wine. I'm drinking water now, I'm in the kitchen, what you order now? Yeah, I got knowledge by the zip, go and break it down. My bookshelf full of scrolls, sometimes I still grab my phone and scroll. Gotta practice self-control, gotta eat what feed the soul. All this peace in my bowl, had so much on my plate, had a fork in a roll, but I did the dishes. It's a marathon, go do the distance. The hood looking for a leader, dog, I did the census. A young king, if you wanna make it out them trenches, get a new dream, get a new team. Gotta focus on the routine.
He just needs a little time.
Yeah. It's power in the routine.
He just needs a little time.
Yeah. Nigga, focus on the root.
The routine. All right. So, classes and session, that's exactly why we do what we do. You made it just in time for class, coach. Glad to have you here. Discipline over everything, right? That's Coach Ron is in the building. Shout out to Coach Ron. That's his motto: discipline over everything, right? And discipline is self love in action. I'm pretty sure that he will agree with that. So let's get into it. I told you we're going to jump right into it because we don't have all day. I like to get it in and get it out the way. So here we go. Understanding discipline. What is discipline? Let's understand exactly what discipline is, because a lot of times, especially, we're introduced to discipline at a young age. We're introduced, just as Chloe said, we're introduced to discipline through our parents, most likely today. All right. They use quote unquote discipline to keep us in line, to help us. And they say, and our parents are famous for, I do it because I love you, right? And so discipline becomes a form of love that your parents show you in order to keep you on the straight and narrow, right? That's discipline. So you don't do what you're supposed to do. That because now we have choice and consequences, right? That's how I kind of teach it to my kids. You make choices and then there's consequences. Things happen. It's cause and effect. We talked about that last season, right? With the universal laws. Discipline is where comes in on that. All right. So let us look and see what discipline is. Understanding discipline. Discipline builds trust with yourself. So when we're talking about self-discipline, when you're old enough now to make your own decisions and you're old enough to own your own consequences, right? When you can be accountable and make your own decisions, now this is where discipline builds trust in yourself. Are you able to make decisions for yourself that are going to benefit you? Are you being a good steward over who you of yourself? All right. This is what discipline does, because it goes in all forms of fashion. We think about discipline in like a physical form, like what we eat, what we exercise, what we talk about routine, right? We wake up, we read. There's a discipline in that because you have a goal that you're trying to reach a lot of times, especially when you get older. Okay. So small promises matter. Small promises matter. And this comes up in discipline because when it's just you, before, after your parents finish giving you the discipline, right? Then it becomes you. So are you going to rebel because you didn't like the discipline? So you just do whatever you want to do. You dishonor yourself, right? And then we have to like kind of learn how to love ourselves again in a certain kind of way. And these small promises, like I'm gonna wake up at 6 o'clock, or I'm going to listen. I'm going to take a walk every day. These small promises matter because what happens is you're engaging in self-discipline with yourself. And what happens if you're lying to yourself, you create this distrust within yourself. Let's find out how that happens, because that is interesting. But yes, discipline, small promises matter when you are talking about discipline and self-discipline and self-love, okay? And consistency shapes identity. Consistency shapes identity. And we've been talking, who are you? Who you are is what you do, in the sense of how you show up. You want to be intentional. So you're going to do things intentionally. That's the discipline. That's the small promises. You have to do something. That's the discipline. The discipline is the doing. Do the work. That's the discipline. Consistency shapes identity. And when you talk about it in the physical form, and again, Coach Ron, I'm going to throw you an alley hoop on this one. When you go to the gym regularly, your body is going to change. You can see the identity. But when the consistency is internal, when it's the way that you think and process, It shows up in your being, your identity, how you start to think about yourself. Okay. That's a different type of identity. But the consistency does that, because when you consistency, then you can say, hey, I do this. I am that. I Because you have proven to yourself through those small promises, the discipline within yourself, that is who you are and that is what you do. So that, in a nutshell, is discipline. All right. In the broad scheme, because this we can really go deep. There's a lot of different avenues that we can roll down the hill on this one. But discipline, and in the context of what we're talking about, it being self-love for you, it is these things here. Building self-trust. Those small promises matter. All right. The cheat day. So if you have a cheat day, it can only be the cheat day. You can't do the cheat day and then be like me, and then, it's not going to happen. All right. So let's see what it say. Coach said, yeah, 1000% agreed. Yes. All right. All right. If you say, he said, if you cannot have discipline to reach a personal goal, if you can't, okay, let me see. If you can't have discipline to reach a personal goal, life will be that much harder. It's hard work. Yes, it is. It is hard. The work is not easy. Nobody said the work was going to be easy, people. We love to result back to what we know. Familiarity ruins a lot of dreams. You are speaking so much truth over here, sir. Because that's comfort zone, right? That's comfort zone. That's kind of that conversation we had last week when we're talking about the voices that you hear are not your own. So if you are in a and so ooh, I'm so glad you say that. So we're gonna build on this. We're gonna build on this. We're gonna build on this. So when you don't have discipline, you haven't built the trust within yourself, you will hear, I can't do this. Because your identity is consistent with not accomplishing the thing that you set out to do. Always falling short, never keeping the small promises to yourself. Oh my goodness gracious, right? You fall back into it, but that's a voice in your head. That's not your true voice, right? That's a voice that's trying to keep you comfortable because you have created an identity for yourself as someone who does not do what they say they're going to do. Ooh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Speak life into me, please. And I'm speaking to myself. When I had these epiphanies, it's because I be catching the Holy Spirit myself, okay? That's a whole truth right there. If you can say that and say, hey, that's me, that's a good thing. Because now you can start to identify when you hear that voice that's telling you to just sink back into your comfort zone. Now you can implement this discipline, this thing that you have said that you wanted to do. So let's get into it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is so good. All right. So we understand what discipline is. Now let's talk about what is motivation versus discipline. Because again, that voice in your head is telling you something, right? But then your friend may be like, oh, you got it, 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 you got it. And you be like, yeah, I got it. I got it. Your friend just gave you some motivation, right? But the thing about motivation is that motivation is emotional, right? Which is energy and motion, meaning it's temporary because it will change, right? Motivation, motivation. It inspires you. It's like the gas to get you going. It's an emotional pull. It's the emotion. It's to get that emotion going, right? But it's temporary and it's unpredictable because you can't just order motivation. I mean, today you could. I guess you could. I guess you could go online and just type in somebody's name and get you some instant motivation, but you don't know how long it's going to last. How long you got to listen to that motivation? right? Whereas discipline is internal, it's intentional. Discipline is intentional. Do this. So it's kind of like the goals. So that's why they say when they tell you about goals and setting goals, they say set smart goals, because it has to be intentional what you are doing. You have to be mindful about what you're doing and how you're doing it. It has to be consistent and reliable. Discipline is reliable. If you get up every day, look, if you get up every day and go to the gym, you are guaranteed results. What those results are going to be, who knows? That's not the point. But you're going to get results. If you study and you get up and you read every day, you're going to get better at reading. How long? It's inevitable. It's almost like guaranteed. This is the difference between motivation and discipline, to the point that what I want to say is that discipline is intrinsic and motivation is extrinsic. Intrinsic means it dwells within, it comes from inside of you, whereas extrinsic is something external. Motivation is extrinsic, it comes from outside of you. You need to get motivation from someone else, but you instill discipline within yourself. So even when your parents at that young age, and we trying to teach our kids discipline, we have to learn, even as parents, how to teach it where it allows them to show their own self-love. You guide them, because discipline is intrinsic. It has to come from within. The goals have to be personal, you know? And so one of the things that I like to do with, especially with my kids, is for instance, what is it that you want to do? Well, if that's something that you want to do, you're going to figure out how to get that done. You know what I'm saying? My job as the parent, in this case, in my case, is just to hold you accountable to that. And if you don't do it, then you don't get to do what you want. That's the discipline. It's a discipline and motivation type of partnership when it comes to parenting. Okay. So that's kind of how I work that out. All right. So discipline is intrinsic. Okay. Discipline builds self trust. This is what I was saying earlier. So every promise you keep strengthens your confidence. Every time you get up and you do the thing that you might have heard in the back of your mind, or somebody else told you that you can't do, or you shouldn't do, won't do, you build confidence within yourself. That I can't becomes I can. That I won't becomes I will. Or I will becomes I did, right? I will to I did. And so I will is like a passive energy. But I did. That's definitive. It confirms my identity of who I say I am. I am who I say I am. Little promises, those little promises you keep to yourself, they strengthen your confidence. And let me tell you, the hardest time to keep those little promises to you is when you are outside of your routine, right? When you're doing stuff when you're doing something and it doesn't go the way you planned it. Because when you listen, part of this motivation, we're talking about motivation. So when you get motivated to put your plan together, right? You get the motivation to put your plan together. You have to have the discipline to carry out the plan, right? And when you reach a hiccup in the plan, will you keep the promise to the plan? Will you trust yourself and God to know that this plan is only to help me grow? So, by any means necessary, I'm going to get it done. And I'm not going to let anything stop me. You build confidence in yourself and you build confidence in your relationship with God. You get to see that when you make those big steps, those big moves, when you make those little steps, those little moves, God makes bigger ones. Bigger, because what he wants to see is that you're going to walk anyway. You're going to walk anyway. You're going to walk anyway. Because just like it doesn't matter. In every promise you break weakens your self-trust because it confirms the voice in your head that said you can't, won't, shouldn't, don't, whatever it is that you didn't do. You just are, confirming what you said in your head. So either way, you're right. My question to you is, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Because if you want to be right in that, then by all means. So really ask yourself, what is it that you want? Okay. Discipline rebuilds a relationship with yourself. See what I said? See what I'm talking? That's what I just said. Discipline rebuilds the relationship with yourself. If you come from if you have a traumatic background, if you've experienced a lot of trauma, if you've experienced a lot of things in your life, we internalize a lot of that. And when we internalize it, it comes out in our being. We don't trust ourselves because of some of the things that we've been through, even if they weren't our faults. And so we blame ourselves for the things that happened to us that weren't our fault. We blame ourselves for the bad decisions that we made, saying, "Oh my God, I can't trust myself because I don't even know how to make decisions." Discipline helps you to rebuild that relationship with yourself, right? Because what I just said, what I was just talking to you about, were those voices telling you, giving you a false narrative about who you are. Okay. Discipline is the opposite of that. All right. I knew I was missing something today. So, with that being said, the self beyond beneath the noise. The self beneath the noise. Who are you at the end of the day? That was from the last show. I put that in there. So, oh, I don't want to go there. So listen, the self beneath the noise. All right. So that is what we have been talking about today. Discipline is self-love in action. So now you can see what discipline is, what the difference is between motivation and discipline, right? Motivation and discipline. All right. Motivation is extrinsic. It comes from outside of you. Discipline is intrinsic. It resonates. It comes from a deep place in you. You you will be motivated, self-motivated. And that's where you really get to the good stuff, when you can self-motivate, right? When you don't need that external in order to accomplish the thing, you become your own engine of motivation, right? And then you just start to surround yourself with people who do that for you anyway, so then you just start to live in this community of flourishment. I don't know if that's right, but yes, when you can get to the point of self motivation, right, where you can inspire yourself, when you know what to go to. And this is the thing. Let me be clear. When I'm not saying you don't need motivation and motivation is not in, and what I'm saying is you cannot solely rely on motivation, right? Just like a car. A car has two things. It has gas and oil. And a lot of times people don't, they're two lubricants, right? They serve two different purposes. And I might not be totally correct, but hear me out. The gas gets the engine started, right? But the oil keeps the engine going and lubricated. So you don't want to run out of gas. That means you gotta stop every so often and fill up gas. Gas prices is high. Relying on other people for your motivation. That's a high price to pay for you to be relying upon somebody else to fill you up in order to keep going, right? It's just as important to monitor your oil, your discipline. Make sure you're changing it out, keeping it fresh, right? Routines don't have to be permanent. It can be for a time. It could be till a goal is accomplished. And then you can change it up, change your discipline, change your routine. That's the thing. But you don't want to run. What you don't want to do is run out of gas because you're depending upon somebody else. Be your own gas. That's all I gotta say. All right. We're gonna keep this train moving right along. We're gonna keep this train moving right along because you guys know what time it is. It is quiz time. Who's ready for the quiz? Yes. All right. Let us get ready for the quiz. This is a new segment in the show. And again, okay, so it's not a quiz, a right or wrong quiz. This is a quiz to gauge yourself. How strong is your self-trust? All right. So each episode, each pod class, we're gonna do a quiz. All right. And you should be happy about this quiz because the quiz is going to help you determine where you are. And keep track of where you are because I have something special for you. If you attend all the pod classes and everything at the end, you can kind of see a self-mastery score of where you are, right? But this kind of helps you along the way so that you can see and be present to how strong your self-trust is and where you need to work on it. So let's go. All right, 1 through 5. 5 questions. First one is, I keep small promises to myself. 1 means not really, not at all. 1 means not at all. And 5 means absolutely, absolutely. I keep every single little promise to myself. All right. 1 is now do that. And 5 is I absolutely do keep all my promises to myself. All right. All right. Here we go. Number 2, I follow through on plans. Where are you on that? Listen. This podcast almost didn't happen on time because I was running up against a situation and I had to just trust myself that this is what it's going to do. This is what I'm going to do. So I followed through on the plans that I had made. It was already set. And I was about to let life circumstances interrupt. And what would that do for myself if I let a moment, something temporary, interrupt the progress of a season-long podcast that I have already planned? No, not me. No, thank you. All right. So 1 meaning, no, I do not follow up on plans. And 5 is, yes, I absolutely do. And if sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, then you might be a 3. You know best what works for you. All right. Number 3, I manage my time intentionally. This is a good one. Do you aimlessly scroll? Do you spend a lot of time scrolling? Do you spend a lot of time sleeping? And not to say that rest is not necessary, but if your intentional time is work only, meaning that's the only thing that you set aside time to do to go to your job, I'm gonna need you to become more intentional about your life. I'm gonna need you to manage all of your time better. Even if it's not down to the dime, at least you say, listen, I'm at least going to do something with myself and be intentional about that time that you manage for yourself. Please do. Please. And the biggest distraction that many of us do, that many of us, so I'm pretty sure a lot of us are not fives when it comes to managing our time intentionally, because if you have a scrolling addiction, then you by accident, unconsciously, you are not being intentional about your time. But I digress. All right. One to five. All right. Next one. Last one. I mean not the last one. Fourth one. I avoid procrastination. Ooh, this one is heavy for me. This one is heavy for me. If I'm being honest, a crystal is about a two for this one. I'm gonna say a three, only because I'm intentional about being present to my past procrastination. I no longer call myself a procrastinator. I stopped doing that a long time ago. But there are things that I do put off still to this day. So I don't totally avoid it, but I'm consciously aware of it. So I'm developing my self trust when it comes to procrastination. But listen, you got to understand, for me, I just stopped calling myself a procrastinator maybe 2 years ago. That's a lot of decades of identifying, hello, as a procrastinator. And it's because I did not have the discipline within myself in order to keep my word to myself, to do what it is that I said I was going to do for me, not for nobody else, for me. All right. And the last one is I finish what I start. That's another one for Crystal. Crystal's still working on these things. So if I'm being honest, I'm developing my self trust. I'm still in the process of probably developing my self trust. I probably got, yeah, I'm probably about an 18 myself. Okay. So be honest with yourself. Where are you really? And the thing is, again, unless I say us also, I don't care what you say. You can give yourself fives if you want to. Lie to yourself if you want to. Don't lie to me. It ain't gonna do you no good to tell me or to say, "Hey, I did." Ah, that's great. That's fine. That's fine. I love this. I love this. All right, we got one, two. All right, we got some people. Ooh, big. All right, okay, Coach Ron, we about in the same book. Okay, Cortland, you love yourself. Trust, self trust, and action over here. Cortland is the star student. He got more than the teacher, so he is on it. Okay, he loves himself, and he do everything he said he gonna do. What he said he gonna do it. You better tell him. See, okay, good. He said I'm at an 18. I'm okay with that. I know I still got work to do. Awesome. And the thing is, you know where the work is, right? You can keep small promises to yourself, but sometimes you don't avoid, you might get it done. It might take you a little long. So it's not that you don't get it done, it just take you a little longer than you said it would. So all these little things, you might have supposed to finish in 3 months. It took you a year, but you finished it. See, that'd be my problem. That'd be me. But I digress. I digress. All right. So add up your scores. Put it in chat if you want to. Write it down. Put it in your journal if you want to. Put it on your refrigerator so you can be mindful. Because we have homework. We always have homework. We always have podcast homework. So last week, the PodCLASS homework was to identify 5 negative thoughts that you have and to reframe those, right? Because we're reshaping and reframing our mindsets and the voices in our head. So if you have any examples that you want to share with the class, you can please put it in the chat about how you caught yourself with your negative thoughts and how you we rewired that. Okay. So just a little FYI. Let's see if I could find it. The podcast homework from last week was to catch and rewrite 5 negative thoughts and notice the voice and how does it sound. So if anybody has any examples of that, that will be wonderful. Okay. But for this week, this is a reflective PodCLASS homework. Okay. So this week, what promises have you been avoiding that my future self would thank me for keeping? Yeah. Hold it. Hold it. Yeah. What promise have you been avoiding that your future self would thank you for keeping? Your future self, I'm so glad that you stuck to that budget. I'm so glad that you decided that you were no longer going to subjugate yourself to certain behavior. Your future self will be so glad that you created boundaries and stuck to them. What will your future self be grateful for? And say thank you for doing that. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay? Appreciate you. So that is the homework. Make sure you have it. Make sure you get the PodCLASS homework. All right. What promise have you been avoiding that your future self would thank you for keeping? Where can you grow? Where can you hold yourself more accountable? Where can you be intentional about the actions that you do in order to grow into who it is that you were created to be? And this is the thing: a lot of our discipline and stuff, it comes from a place that resonates. Everybody's routine is not going to be the same. Everybody doesn't have the same goals, right? Right, right. So your discipline, your self-love is going to be expressed in different ways. You know what it is that you need for you. You can do that. So what promises that you need to hold for yourself? What is your future self saying? Please, please. We need that. Where we're going, we need that. Tap into that and see what you come up with. Tap into that, see what you come up with. Oh my gosh, guys, this seems like it's flying by. I mean, it's just me, but it's been going. So look, as always, I want to do a gratitude moment as we wrap up this episode, this PodCLASS. But again, I want to go back to the intention. We want to understand discipline not as punishment, but as a form of self-respect, right? So no matter what it is that you got on your quiz, it's not to say the punishment that you don't keep your word to yourself and you're a bad person and you don't do this. Like Coach Ron said, it's just an area for you to see where you need to work on, right? As a form of self-love. When you see a plant growing, right? You water the plant. You give the plant sun. That's discipline. You give it water. You give it sun. You prune it, right? If it's dying, you're going to pay extra care. You're going to take extra care to pay attention to it. When you have gotten to the end of yourself, when you can't do it no more, when you feel like the world has served you its entire booty to kiss, the world has, right? This is where you get to be like, you know what? And sometimes it takes you going there. Sometimes it takes the world giving you the whole derriere to kiss that you realize, okay. But once you realize that, then you understand that the discipline is it's self-respect. It's self-love. It's saying, hey, it's that the questions in the quiz. Do I keep the small promises to myself? That's discipline. Jesus had 12 disciples. Disciplines. Disciples. Keep their word. Okay. I think that's an analogy or a metaphor or allegory or something like the symbolism of the disciples. Jesus made a promise to disciples. Hey guys, he said, if I'm gonna go and make a place for you, and when I come back, I'm gonna make a place for you so that when you come, you can be with me. Yeah, he made a promise to the disciples out of love and discipline. He knew what he was doing. He knew he was about to be crucified. And he made a promise. He said, yo, I'm about to go do this. He ain't want to do that. He made the promise to them and then go over to the mountaintop and cry to Jesus, cry to God and be like, why I gotta do it? Discipline. Oh my God. Discipline. Discipline. All right, so let's show some gratitude. Let's be grateful right now. Let's do that. Um, let's do a moment of gratitude. Today we are grateful for the ability to keep our world to ourselves. Discipline is self respect in action. You control your world. Self discipline is you. Not control in the sense where you try to make sure everything is prim and proper, but you are intentional about your thoughts and your actions. And you know that your choices come from a place of self respect, of love for self, for who you are. You're going to honor and respect yourself. And that's what discipline is. It's not punishment. If you get grown and think somebody else can discipline you, you're crazy. And if you get grown and don't think you need discipline, I don't know what to say. Because that's what a lot of people are out here just running rampant and running wild because they don't have no self discipline. They don't love themselves. It will have you out here doing things that just say, I don't care. I don't care about me. I don't care. I don't care. And the only thing that's gonna make me change is somebody else say it or bring it to my attention. I don't have it within myself to do that for me. Somebody got to tell me that you all should be grateful because you have the ability, you have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom on this Wisdom Wednesday to be grateful for the ability to keep your world to yourself, to, and to lay out your world in a routine that fosters your growth, that creates an environment of self love and self respect, that helps shape your new identity, that helps shape your future. Because that future self is waiting for you to do something so that they can have that skill. My future self, the person that I am today, was waiting for the crystal in the past to stop calling herself a procrastinator. Oh my goodness, she was so happy when she did that. Thank you, girl. Don't put that on us. That's not ours. Don't put that on me. That's not mine. Now, if that's the case, I'm gonna make different decisions, different choices, because I have a conscious thought. I'm aware of my thought, right? I'm aware of my thought, the voice in my head that's trying to tell me that I'm a procrastinator. The only way I can fix that is to do the work. And we already know that the work is what? Not easy. But that's why discipline is necessary. So We are rolling right into this, y'all. We are. This is the third. This is the third pod class, right, for this season, and we've gotten into some really deep things. All right, so make sure you go back. If you miss any class, go back and check them out. All right, make sure you check them out. Catch up because you don't want to miss this. You want to make sure that you're keeping up with your journal prompts because this work is ongoing. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to miss the train because we are going places. We are really going places. I really want you to understand we are really going places. All right. So shout out to Patricia. This is an awesome podcast. A lot of self examination, healthy conversation with yourself. Keep the faith and do the work. That's right. You got to do that. All right. And you remember Little Krista? Oh gosh. Oh, Little Krista. Yeah, she was a different. She was yeah, she was different. She was different. But here I am now. Smart video girl, your host guide. And this has been another wonderful show, you guys. You guys have done a great job. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for the work that you did on you and revealing where you are. I hope that everybody took notes. I hope that you hope you took notes. I hope you took the quiz and assessed, and I hope you did your homework for the last week. Okay, because that's what we're doing. You want to show up, but again, you don't want to just see my beautiful face. You know it's beautiful. Thank you for being here. But we want to grow for our own selves because if I'm being honest, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give y'all a little transparent moment. If I'm being honest, I want everybody to grow because I don't want to be in a world full of people who won't grow. That's just me. I don't think I could do it. Be around a whole bunch of people who want to be stuck. Like, oh no, honey, no. No, 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 no. Put me on the island by myself. I would be okay by myself. But if I can be around people like you all who come to the podcast, who are interested in your own personal growth, and then we come together, we collaborate, we build community in that way where there's no seeking a validation or attempting to harness or harvest someone else's energy, then I'm good for that. I love that. I love that for us because that's an environment where everybody can grow, flourish, and be their best selves. So that is what we're doing. So thank you so much for coming to another episode, another class of introducing the pod class. We will be back next week. Have a whole new class. So make sure you take notes. Make sure you look over your notes. Make sure you practice this. Make sure you identify that one thing that your future self would like for you to implement. And let's get to work. All right. I love you guys. Peace.